Welcome back to the Level Up and Live podcast. I'm your host, Sean Meyers, and we're on a mission to empower business owners and emerging leaders to design a life they don't grow to hate or regret without sacrificing health, relationships, or spirituality. We do that through our 5 pillars: clarity, accountability, guidance, support, and community. Today, we've got a special guest and a member of our own Level Up and Live mastermind, local Montgomery County business owner, husband, father, and a man on a mission, Larry Goodall, owner of Goodall Plumbing. Larry and his team are known for honesty, reliability, and getting the job done right the first time. Let's pull back the layers of his story and learn how he's been building in business, himself, and his life over these past couple years. Larry, welcome to the show, brother.
What's going on?
All right, man. Well, let's dive deep into my first question. And for our listeners and viewers who may not know who the one and only Larry Goodall is, tell us a little bit about who Larry is outside of business, the husband, the dad, and the man on a mission.
So I've been married for, it's been 6 years. And, we have 2 amazing kids, 16 and 10. And living the life, doing the thing, we're going through a lot of changes. 16-year-old, she just started driving. She just got her first car, and she just got her first boyfriend, so it's just like a whole thing, a lot of changes. And, then we got the little 10-year-old. Matter of fact, yesterday we just went to his open house for school. He's just starting inside of a new school. So that's another change, just going through all of them and just figuring out how to navigate this thing,
Yep. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners and audience and viewers can resonate and relate with that. I'm curious, as we transition to Goodall Plumbing, so your daughter and your son, have they loaded up in the truck with you before and helped you with any of the jobs at Goodall Plumbing?
No. My son, he wants to do everything, Jace. Anything that he can possibly do, he wants to be a big part of it. So maybe one day he will. He helps me around the house, and he helps me with so much stuff. Maybe one day. My daughter, Peyton, she just was telling me yesterday about her classes, and one of her classes is going to be social media marketing. So we were thinking of a way yesterday of figuring out how to bring her on to help out however she can and have her input on it,
Yeah, that's actually smart. And there's actually tax write-offs for that, bringing your kids and having them work for the business, whether it's admin work, tagging along with you, social media marketing, and it helps with those tax implications. So definitely highly recommend looking into. Yeah. Did you know about that?
Yeah. So I've heard quite a bit about it. Everybody's asking me if they're going to start being part of the company, which I want for them to have their own path in life. I don't want to tell them this is what you should do. So I want them to do whatever's going to bring them joy. Me having this company is just a way to support them in that. But if they want to be a part of it, then we'll always find a role for them and, try to get them plugged in as much as possible.
I love that, man. Yeah. And you're leading by example. And like you said, you're not shoving it or forcing your kids or anyone to do something that they don't want to do. Right. And I think that's the best way to approach it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to tell them that this is what they need to do or get them plugged in any kind of way.
But in the meantime, you got food on your table, you got a roof over your head. I need you to come join me and help me with some.
Yeah. Anytime I ever need help, all I have to do is ask. I'm around so many people who help and who want to be a part of it and help out however they can, including Level Up and Live. All of y'all have been so amazing. So yeah, they kind of do whatever they want, but whenever I need something, they're always there, support and lend a hand.
Well, I'm a big believer in it's the law of reciprocation. So because of who you are, because of your loving heart and your kindness and how you show up for people, whether that's customers, the community, friends, your wife, your kids, just hearing some of the stories that you've shared behind the scenes, there's no better explanation for that, which is what you put out is what you get in.
Right.
And me and you've talked about that behind the scenes, and it sounds like you embody that with your kids as well. So they're like, yeah, Dad, I'll help you out. No problem.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that I want to, kind of share about my life and everything around me. Those are the type of people that bring you up. Those are the type of people that give you motivation and, give you pride in doing what you're doing and to keep pushing forward.
Take us back before Goodall Plumbing. What did life look like for you, and what ultimately led you to take the leap into business ownership? It's time to dive deep, my man.
How far back do you want to go? So what really pushed me into having my own company or starting Goodall Plumbing Company is my previous employer. I love them and they have done so much for me. It was amazing working for them. There were, as any business owner, as you start your own company, you have a vision for yourself. You have a path that you want to go down. And for me as a child, reaching what I am now is way beyond what I could have ever dreamed. And to have the company that I was with before, to have them, teach me so much and give me clarity on where I wanted to go and the type of person I really wanted to be is that kind of pushed me into what I'm doing now, which I want to give back. I want to be able to share my knowledge and help out however I can with anything I can. And, this company is only giving me a vehicle to be able to do that, so that's what really kind of drove me into doing it. And, I always want more. I can be more of a better person. I can be more of a better husband, a better father, better to my community, and to try to reach out and help and show the younger generation that they can do the same. And, it's not always about just going to work or, put your head down and just do whatever you got to do and just get through the day. It could be, life is more than that. I want to try however I can to be able to give back. And that's why I started doing what I was doing.
Was there a moment that you can take us through, our viewers and audience, and even myself, where you were like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start my own plumbing company. Was there a moment that you can think of or put a pulse to?
The closest moment I can think of would be like feeling like I was stuck, like I was at the top of my ladder and my future, the clarity of where I was, my future was that's as far as I was going to go. There was no more room for improvement, no more room for anything. And I get it whenever you get to that spot in a company, there's nothing else there, And so being there, and I was there for several years, and I was just like, there's got to be more. And for me, I'm good with using my hands. I'm good at my job. And, I was just thinking like, what else can I do? What else is there? And all conversations and everything with my wife kind of brought me to starting our own company and, figuring it out and challenging ourselves every day and making it work. So that, being at the top of your ladder, having that feeling like you're stuck and that's all that you have there. That's what pushed me there. That's my changing moment.
And you took that leap of faith, and it's been all rainbows and sunshines, right?
Oh, absolutely. It is. This is the easiest thing that you could possibly do.
Says no business owner ever.
Yeah. No, there's so many struggles. There's so much that I didn't know that I'm learning, so much that I still have to learn.
You've been in business over a little over a year now. And now that you bring that up, and I'm curious with you, Larry, what has surprised you the most about owning a business versus working in one these last 12 to 18 months?
I don't know. I would probably say like the overhead. There's so much money that goes out and it goes so fast. None of that was ever like you always hear business owners talking about overhead and, stuff like that. And you don't really know what all it is until you start doing it. Nobody ever explains that to you. Nobody says this is what you need and you also need this, and everything that goes into it behind the scenes. That was probably the most surprising, the most gut wrenching. Every day it's something that you got to think about and try to figure out how to incorporate it into your billing, into your company, and stay afloat.
Yeah. It definitely adds up quick, especially if you're trying to do things right with insurance and employees and taxes and licensing and gas and fuel and trucks and logos. I mean, it just adds up really quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's wild.
Especially with your line of work, because you're doing plumbing, residential, commercial, and I'm sure tools are probably not cheap. They're probably very, very expensive, the types of tools you need.
Yeah, bringing up tools, Sean. As you know, I just had to go and purchase everything twice with getting all of my tools because, I happened to have somebody break into my truck.
What was your mindset in navigating through that, and what got you through it, if you don't mind sharing with us?
Oh, man. I felt like everything that I ever worked for was just taken away from me. I was close to breaking, man. It was tough. But Level Up and Live, I had that mastermind group right after, and the whole community there just kind of helped me a lot. They gave me some options of what the next steps to do. And man, it was so overwhelming. I felt so horrible, man. But with the group and everything, everybody they gave me options. Everybody there was so supportive, and everybody offered some way to help, which was amazing. And with just the type of support that I had there, can't just give up. You got to kind of just roll with it and figure out what your next steps were. And so Kendra, she was telling me, get with insurance and try to at least figure out what they can do. When that's what I did, and insurance helped out quite a bit. And over the weekend, I was able to go out and I bought all my tools, or most of them, get me everywhere that I need to do, get me back up and running. Luckily for me, in my industry doing service work, I can do most of my job with a pair of channel locks and a screwdriver. I can figure it out. That's
whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes. I would be able to do it. But probably that is the worst feeling that I've had since opening my own company. I mean, it was horrible.
That's tough, man. That really is tough. And I know we all felt it that day when you shared the news with us. And everybody listening to this goes through their own different stolen tools in life, personally or professionally. But it's in those moments where how we react, how we get back up, that really defines us. And a lot of times what happens is we get sit down, we get knocked down on our butt, stolen tools, all these things in business or in professionally, the bad news when you go and see the doctor, or the sale didn't go through, whatever it may be. It's in those moments where how you react is the key ingredient. I want you to take the audience and viewers and listeners through that moment. I know you said you were struggling, you were almost inside your own head. And correct me if I'm wrong, you weren't even going to show up to the group because of what you were experiencing. What was your mindset? Were you immediately going to try to go to isolation to figure things out?
Absolutely.
And then what helped you overcome that?
Well, I mean, it happened. And, the first thing that I did, I came in and I let Jen know what had happened. And, we called the cops, and we were just sitting on the front porch, and she was trying to do everything that she could, but man, I was just so, I don't know, I started my isolation, I just didn't want to be there. So we went through, the cops did all their stuff, filled out the report and all that. And I mean, the rest of the I didn't look at my phone. I isolated. So that was Thursday, and our meetings are on Fridays. So the next morning, woke up and Jen's getting ready for work and stuff, and I'm awake, and I'm like, there's just I still felt the same. Nothing
Yeah.
had changed, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know any like I didn't know where to go. I didn't just so isolated. It was I don't know. I was that stuck feeling like what to do.
Yeah.
And so she's getting ready. I don't want to feel that way.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go to our mastermind, and
Mm.
which I wasn't even going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to tell anybody. It's that isolation just
Yeah.
in my head, just try to figure out something like, what am I going to do? We just at the round table, I was the last person to talk, and we were just talking about our lows and stuff, and I was like, man, like, what other low is there? Like, this is as low as you get. That's the way that I felt,
Yeah.
at that time, and I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it, and I did, and it was just immediately like, we had some members there that were already texting, asking
Mhm.
people who they knew, like what they can do to help. And just with having that kind of response, I was like, I cannot sit here and feel this way if I have all these people around me that they're physically not letting me feel that way.
Yeah. Mm.
So I mean, that day right after the meeting, I came back home, and I immediately started getting to work on what I can do. I left that meeting, and I did not feel the same. I didn't feel I felt supported. I felt like there's too many people around to just give up, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I got home, and I immediately started making my phone calls on insurance, and which I called, and they're so helpful. They did an awesome job. I can't say anything bad about it. And then right after that, I spent the rest of the day getting all the tools together, the receipts, everything that I had lost. I'm looking through everything, and it's just like it started becoming overwhelming again. But I'm in the process of working it out.
Yeah.
So like, I just got to get through it. It just felt like it kept stinging every time I had to send something, every time I had to talk to insurance. But I got through it.
Oh man, that's so beautiful. You got that story right there, Larry. I hope everybody that landed with everybody. And I know it did. They need to go back and listen to that for the last 2 to 3 minutes, because we all go through those trials and tribulations. And it's in those moments. And what I'm hearing you say is, maybe in the past you would have isolated yourself and tried to figure things out on your own, which the definition of that, it's insanity, doing the same thing over and over and trying to expect different results. But you're like, you know what? You felt called to one foot in front of the other. I'm going to show up, and I'm still not going to speak up. But then it was in that moment where you were the last one, and you felt called to speak up. And when you did, you felt not only supported, like you said, but also it was relatable. Because when you take yourself out of isolation and you're vulnerable, because it was in that moment, Larry, that you had the courage, you had the faith to step outside of the person that wanted to isolate himself, which is the ego and the pride, to be vulnerable. And that, my friend, right there is very inspirational, very powerful. And I want our listeners and audience to realize that, because not a lot of men, especially, and also women, do not share that vulnerability. We mask
Yeah.
it. Oh, everything's fine. Everything's great. But once you did, look what happened. What I'm hearing you say is you got back home. You had a little bit more pep in your step. The feelings are still there. The feelings are always going to be there. But the pivotal moment for you was you felt supported. You had some guidance from some advice from different walks of life and different business owners from the group. And you did something about it. You took action, and you put one foot in front of the other. And you learned so much from that. And look, you're that much stronger because of that. And now you're putting things in place, and you're able to when somebody else goes through that, you're able to pay it forward. Hey, I actually experienced that as well. Here's what I did. And right. I think that's the beautiful thing about it. Is that you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the support, my wife and Mastermind, everybody was, I was thinking about just throwing the towel in. As soon as it happened.
Interesting. That went through your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. It was like, everything other than the truck was stolen. Immediately, how am I going to work? Like, what am I going to do? I'm a small business. I don't have, all the resources to start all over, and it was just like, what can I do? And, at some point also, I could be a self-destructive person, my thoughts and everything could get the better of me. But to have like the support from my wife as soon as it happened, and then which I had that support, and she throughout the whole day, she's texting and calling and just making sure that I'm okay, because she knows that I'm going through it, and just to have her support. And then the following day, Mastermind and all the business owners there, and all the leaders and everything, just having everybody's support as well. There was no way after I left that meeting that I was going to give up. Like, there's no way. You can't have that kind of support and those kind of people around you just to, give up, just to say, no, I can't do this, all because, somebody else's, they thought they needed all that more than me, and I can't let people like that change my whole life.
Agreed. Well, and then also too, because it's going to happen again. Something in your life, personally or professionally, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And look how you just reacted. You go through the same process. You're like, oh, this is that feeling again. I know what I need to do. I need to put one foot in front of the other. I need to be vulnerable. I need to not isolate myself. I need to seek counsel, seek guidance. And that's something that's taken me 30 plus years to learn. And I have to challenge my pride, especially a guy like me, pride and ego every single time. Like, nope, I'll get it figured out. But every time I share it, whether it's on podcast, whether it's in the roundtables at the mastermind group, or whether if it's friend, I always feel better.
Yeah. I never leave a conversation feeling worse, just pouring my knowledge into someone, or listening to other people, and just learning. Every day we're learning. And if you ever feel like you're not, then you need to look in the mirror.
Amen to that, brother. What would be one piece of advice you would give someone, a business owner, emerging leader, right now on the podcast, on that may be experiencing that stuck, that frustration, that glass ceiling at their current position and where they're at, not being challenged enough, or they're even in isolation? What would be that one piece of advice they would give them? Because we've covered a lot today, but I'm curious on your thoughts on that one piece of advice.
I think communicate. That's probably the hardest thing for anybody to do. It's hard for a business owner to communicate their vision for what they're doing. And I think that if the workers, or if your employees or whoever has a clear vision of where you're wanting the company to go or what you're wanting to do, it will also help them, because what we're about is lifting people up, where we want everybody to succeed. As a business owner, that's the way that I think. And, I like to surround my people with like-minded people. So that's the way that I believe most of them think. And I think that communication, having those talks with people around you, sharing your vision, is always going to be the best thing, because if I knew or had some type of security that I wasn't going to be stuck there, if there was more for me to do, then who knows what that would look like, and but that's also how you keep good people.
Yeah.
That's how, you just let the people around you know what your vision is, where you're going. And then also it provides clarity for people around you too.
Mm.
If I have a vision, it doesn't line up with your vision, then let's come together and let's talk about it and let's see how we can make your vision line up and, become partners or become, uh, you know, a mentor,
Yeah.
you know?
That's really good, man. What I'm hearing you say on the communication side of it, I think expressing that, like you said, and you've really tied that into vision and mission. And I love that you went that route, because when I heard you telling that your advice to that one business owner that may be in that stuck, isolation, frustrated, what goes back to looking yourself in the mirror as the business owner or the emerging leader, getting super clear. That's what I'm hearing you say on that vision and that mission. Because a lot of times, I think even from your experience, I know from my experience, when I lack vision or clarity or my goals, then I experience friction, and then I don't communicate. I isolate.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just a cog in the wheel. I'm in the
Right.
rat race doing the same thing over. And I love how you beautifully put that together, man, in your perspective. It sounds like you've got a little bit of experience in doing that these last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a little bit of experience in being on both sides of it.
Yeah.
Being on the side where you don't know what the vision is or if there's even a vision anymore. I mean, the company could be where it's at, and they, as a different type of business owner, they like it and they don't want to move forward, and they just want everything to stay the same. People don't like change, so
Yeah.
if they make it stay the same, or if that's their vision, then it's not going to always line up with somebody.
Well, if you come into the mastermind group, one of our core values is relentless growth. So there is no complacency. There is no resting on your laurels. That's just not in our DNA, right, Larry?
Right. Yeah. And I think that that's the way how you get left behind.
Yeah. Agreed.
You can be
Agreed.
doing great right now, but eventually you're going to get left behind. You got to
Yeah.
learn, grow, adapt, and, each day become a better version of who you were yesterday.
That's good, man. Killing the old version of yourself and just being 1% better every day. And you embody that in just a short period of time. And me getting to know you really in these last handful of months, I'm like, dude, if Larry's going through this transformation and he's doing all these things in his business and in personal life and in fitness, then what's it going to look like in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months? Because that just compounds. Have you thought
Right.
about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think about it every day. Yeah, my vision. I want to, as I said earlier, this is a vehicle for a means of me being the person who I want to be. You know,
Yeah.
I'm working on myself every day. I'm working on everything, everything. My fitness. I'm working on my mental state. It's always ever changing, and this is just a means to get to where I want to be.
So you mentioned fitness and health, and we can transition into that. I know you've been working hard behind the scenes on leveling up your fitness and health. You've been incorporating more aerobic. And if you want to share the story, I won't share for personal, you can share what you want. How has that played into how you show up for your family and business?
I think it's more of just I don't know, just being there, having a routine, and just feeling better about yourself. You can't learn to be happy with the things or the people around you without being happy with yourself. You know,
Mm.
so it's all got to start somewhere. I've had big changes in my health, and a lot of setbacks, and it's kind of messed with you mentally, or messed with me mentally
Yeah.
on my eating habits, and I'm learning to change those. I'm at a spot in my life where everything is changing, and why not change myself?
Right.
So
Right.
just every day, I'm doing stuff in the garage. I'm rowing. I'm trying to be a healthier version of myself, and changing my eating habits. So,
And why is that important to you?
oh well. I mean, a lot of different reasons. There's a certain way that I want to look, so, and that will bring me happiness as well. And then also, to live longer. I mean, we want to be healthy for our families. We want to be healthy for the people around us, and to, I mean, I enjoy showing my kids that, we can make changes and changes are good, and, you know, be healthier.
Well, it's caught, not taught. I love saying that on
Right.
every episode, and you're embodying that. You're doing the work behind the scenes. You're not just one of those pointing your fingers, dictating and saying you should do this, and then you're not the one doing it as the father,
Right.
as the leader of the household. You're actually embodying what you're teaching or preaching.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's how I live my life. I like to, especially for my kids, I like to lead by example and not just by me telling them something.
Yeah.
That's not the way that I learn. It's not the way most people learn. If I live my life every day this certain way, then they catch on. The same with my wife and I, we always talk about it, our relationship. That's
Yeah.
something that people, if you grow up in a broken home or something, or, you see abuse happening, whether it's emotional or physical, you're most likely to grow up and do the same with your kids, with your spouse, and uh, that's something that we always talk about and we always think about whenever it comes to our kids, on how we want them to have relationships with other people, not just, as a spouse or whoever, but friendships. Like, what kind of friend do you allow in your life?
Yeah.
And, we lead by example every day, I mean, we're happy, and that's the way we want our kids to live their life.
Yeah. And I love that too. And one of the things that allows us as human beings and even leaders, because we're imperfect action takers, is by allowing other like-minded individuals that we know, like, and respect, that are on the journey in these different areas of life. Like for me, I want to level up in my spiritual journey. So I have to go find somebody that's down that road, a pastor or somebody that's more spiritually grounded in embodying that in their life, to learn from them and then allow them to hold me accountable. I think that's the key ingredient. That's a pillar that I have learned, is who is challenging Larry Goodall, who is challenging Sean Meyers in spirituality. And I think once you surround yourself not only in a community like that, but also open up to allow those people that are excelling in those areas of life that you want to improve on, dude, it's only a matter of time before people are like, holy smokes, in your fitness, in your health, in your business, in your spiritual, in your finances, because you're learning from the people that are actually doing. Does that land with you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's how you grow.
Yeah. Amen to that, brother. Well, final question, dude, as we wrap things up. Speaking of vision, when you look 3 to 5 years ahead, what do you want Goodall Plumbing to be known for in Montgomery County and beyond?
Oh man, I want to be known for honesty, for being fair with my customers, and being showing up. A big thing for me is the quality of work. Having all the tools and all the knowledge to do my job, and make sure, as much as I love my customers, as much as I enjoy showing up to their houses and fixing things for them, I only want to fix one thing one time. I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
That's there's no reason for me to have to go back and fix the same thing again. So, and, better yet, even have somebody pay for that.
Yeah.
I want to change people's opinions on being plumbers, trying to sell them things that they don't need, trying to give them information and make things worse than what it is, and cost the homeowner or business owner more money than what is needed. I want to change people's opinions on that.
Well, you're definitely doing that. And I'm sure our community, the people that know you, we see that. And you're a brutally honest individual. And that's one thing I've learned about you. If I need to ask for any kind of feedback from Larry Goodall, I know who to go to.
I'm your guy. Sign me up.
That's who you want to do business with. You know, if I got a plumbing issue, residential, commercial, and if I'm a customer, I want somebody to shoot me straight, because how you do one thing is how you do everything, not just in your business, but also personally as well. And I think that's by doing it kindly and with humility and love and honor. Right. And there's appropriate ways to do that. I think that is what I have learned in the last few years, is learning thyself, and then how we're proposing that to the other individual. Because a lot of times people don't want to hear it, but if there's respect there, then like I have respect for Larry Goodall.
Right.
So when I think of Larry, I know he'll shoot me straight if I go to him for soliciting feedback, and then that's going to transition over to business as well. So I love that you share that about yourself, Larry.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Well, Larry, man, I just want to acknowledge you for being on the podcast today. You saying yes. This has been a manifestation in process that has finally come to fruition. So just want to acknowledge you, man, for your honesty, your heart, you continuing to show up, lean in, and pour into other people too. That just speaks a lot about your character. And I'm really excited to continue our relationship together for the next many years to come, man.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I really appreciate you being on the show, brother.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
You're more than welcome, man. And last question, how can our community at Level Up and Live, how can we support you? You've been nothing but valuable today. You've opened up. So how can we support you, man?
Man, plug me in. Anytime you see me, say hi. Anytime you see my truck, give me a honk, send me a picture. But support me, show up anytime you ever need any plumbing issues resolved or just a little bit of knowledge. I'm your guy. I can help you out on a phone call if it's something that you could do on your own, or I could show up and fix it up, do it right the first time.
Let's go. And is there a website or social media that we can steer them towards?
Yeah. So Goodall Plumbing Company on Facebook, GoodallPlumbingCompany.com is my website. You could get on there. There's a little bio about who we are, read it. And then, everybody go like and share my Facebook page, Instagram, Goodall Plumbing Company.
Reach out to Larry Goodall for all your plumbing needs, residential, commercial. People do business with you they know, like, and trust. Thanks again, Larry, for being on the show today. And for those listening, make sure to go not only follow Larry, but keep up with his great work. And yeah, sure, you've listened to the podcast, you listened to what he said, but watch his actions too. Larry's a guy that aligns what he says and what he does in our community. And if you're a business owner or a leader like Larry, and you're ready to lean in, surround yourself with like-minded people, and embody our core values of relentless growth, impact with intention, leadership by example, faith-fueled grit, and unapologetic ownership, join the Level Up and Live Mastermind Group. We offer a 1-month free trial, and we'd love to see you in the room. See you in the next episode. Thanks again, Larry.
Thank you.